Diarmud Mullins, Limerick Minor hurling manager. Diarmid, I suppose after a lengthy delay of 6 months at this stage, you have your All Ireland semi-final clash against Galway. I suppose you have the date, the venue, the time, and everything. I suppose it's a long time coming. But what's the mood like in the camp in the build up to the game?
Yeah, it's good, Jack. I suppose, as you said, it's been a long time waiting till the semi-final. Obviously, when we won the Munster final in December, we'd initially got a semi-final date, which was just in early January, and obviously it's had to be paused. So look, the lads are delighted to get an opportunity. It's been a long time coming, so they're going to grab that opportunity now. So it's really looking forward to Friday night.
And I suppose it's a case of better late than never for a game that we probably thought would never come to fruition.
Yeah, of course. Look, initially it didn't look like we'd even have a Munster championship, and that was delayed twice. So then when we were, lucky enough to win the Munster championship, obviously you're hoping then to be able to play an All Ireland semi-final. And there was sometimes in February and March that it looked unlikely. You kind of got a feeling that maybe the GA would decide that it would end at provincial level. I suppose the fact that Kilkenny and Offaly hadn't concluded their Leinster final maybe made the decision more difficult. And in fairness to the GA, they've decided to go ahead with the semi-final and final, and that's great. So we've had 6 months of further development with the lads, and some of them will be moving on to the 20s panel, we'd hope, and also some of them are eligible now to play adult club hurling as well. So that's great. And then we've about 7 of them that are underage for this year's minor competition, which starts in 3 weeks' time. So it's been a balancing act over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I suppose just before we get into the Galway game, it's been a long time since we saw you play. Just could you give us a squad update, how the lads are going, any injuries or anything like that?
No, everyone's 100% bar Owen McCormack, who unfortunately broke a finger in a challenge game against Offaly. So it's unfortunate for Owen that he's not available for selection. But everybody else is fitting well. We had a couple of knocks early on when we got back to training, but everyone else is available for selection at the weekend, which is good.
And just then onto the game this weekend, you're obviously playing Galway, who are going for a 4 in a row. And I suppose if the game had been played in January, you would have had the benefit of having the 2 months championship games, because this would be Galway's opening game, but it's going to be a level playing field after the long break.
Yeah, I think so. I think, we had momentum. We had won the 2 games, played very well against Cork, played very well against Tipperary to win it in extra time. So we're really looking forward to playing Galway in early January. And even the last training session we had before the lockdown, like, you could get a sense there was huge energy around the group. But look, that's in the past now. And Galway are, experts really at getting their team prepared for a once-off game. Up until the last couple of years, they used to go straight into the semi-final and have to prepare that way. And of course, in the last couple of years, they've had to play the Munster runners-up and the Leinster runners-up to try and get into a semi-final. And I know Brian Hanley well, who's the Galway manager, and he'll have no stone unturned in terms of preparation. And then they have huge experience from last year. They've 10 of the starting team from last year, so they're a very experienced lineup. So I don't think there'll be any fear there that they'll be ready for action.
Yeah, you talk about Galway's experienced lineup, but you were in a similar position in 2019, got to an All Ireland semi-final. I know a couple of lads are still involved. That experience was plenty.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've 7 off last year's. Well, it's kind of nearly 2 years ago now. But huge experience with Ronan, Ethan, John Kirby, Paddy O'Donovan, Adam English, Liam Lynch, Ned Quinn. That's great experience, and that stood to us in the 2 games against Tipperary and Cork. You could see the likes of Ronan and Ethan were so calm in defence because they've been through the process before. So yeah, definitely. Look, we have experience as well, but we'll need all of that on Friday night, and that's what we aim to bring to the game.
Yeah, and I suppose the minor grade was changed 2 years ago at this stage, probably to help combat the Leaving certain things, and obviously it's been pushed in to the Leaving Cert this year. How has it been like for the lads to prepare in such a busy time of the year?
Yeah, look, I think it's been a little bit of a challenge, but they have had the option of accredited grades or sitting exams. But I think we've been very respectful of the fact that this is the Leaving Cert, and where they want to go in terms of their professional career is more important than their hurling career. Now there may be some lads on the squad who would disagree with me in terms of that, but I think we've got the balance right, because exams and preparing for exams can take a lot of energy out from lads, but really, within the Limerick Academy, I think there's always been an emphasis on having a balanced approach that, lads have to academically do their best, and then also commit to the training side of things as well. But I don't think we haven't like been flogging the lads or anything like that. We've been getting together maybe twice a week and working our way around when there's been kind of pinch times for lads that have been sitting exams. So it's about that balanced approach, and I think it's worked well for us,
And on Friday, you'll be live on TG Cahir. I suppose it's a big step up for lads, and it's a great achievement to be shown live on a national broadcaster. But is that something you spoke about to the players, just to add a bit of pressure?
No, we haven't mentioned it at all, actually. So, look, I think it's great that hopefully family members and Limerick supporters can look at the team, and hopefully we perform well. But no, we haven't mentioned that at all. Really, it's just a matter of preparing for the game and making sure that we get the absolute best performance that we possibly can.
And the winners of yourselves versus Galway play Offaly or Kilkenny, is that a game that you have thought about, or is it just all focused on Galway?
Oh, definitely haven't thought anything about the opposite side of the draw. Like as you said before, Galway are really the experts at minor hurling. If you go back over the last, I'd say 20 years, they must have probably 10 or 11 All Ireland wins. So I think we've enough to do to concentrate on that game, than to be even considering the other semi-final. But look, it'd be great if we have to consider that on Saturday evening and go to that game and have a look and see. That'll be fantastic. But our focus just on Friday and not at all really on ourselves and making sure that we get ourselves prepared properly and get the maximum performance that we know we'll need to be competitive on Friday.
And I suppose on a personal level, just moving on from that game, you were appointed as the under-20s manager late last year. What's it like, that kind of juggling act now that you have two sets of squads to look after?
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been a bit of a challenge. I suppose initially when I accepted that role, the hope was that the minor would be concluded as quickly as possible, and that really the under-20s was to be finished by the end of April. And obviously that wasn't possible. So there's a bit of juggling going on at the moment. But look, we've great people involved in both setups. In Andrew, Jar and Tommy with the minor, and Tommy's come up with me and John Meskel and Richie Flannery up at the under-20s. So look, everything is going well. And then the added bonus of having Dara Droog, who's with both squads, so he knows the players really, really well. And then our liaison officer, Neil Clifford, and even and Decca's kitman is kind of moving on as well. So there's a lot of familiarity between the two groups, and that's helped. And look, everyone is doing their best. We have to focus on the minor and the 20s and make sure that we're giving the same priority to both groups at the moment, because the 20s game against Clare or Kerry will be on the 19th of July, so that's creeping around the corner as well.
Yeah, but for the time being, we'll focus solely on this weekend and All Ireland semi-final, and hopefully we'll be looking forward to a quick turnaround and a Munster final the following weekend. Many thanks for joining me, Diarmud, and best luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot, Jack.